All right. So, more regular couch sessions. I love it because I got a couch for the first time in like 10 years or something. It's crazy. So I want to briefly talk about these really like full-on energies at the moment because they are really full-on, full-on intensity. A lot of people are like, there's weird feelings, and then it's just like full and intense and anxiety, and just a lot of people are feeling the energies differently, but a lot of people are feeling them. And I just wanted to speak about it because I want you to know that you're not alone, that there's a lot going on in the world, let alone whatever else is happening. There's lots of other things happening, right? But I just wanted to speak a little bit about these really crazy intense energies that we're feeling at the moment. So as always, I'm just going to share this live stream. So if you've got questions about the energies or anything, let me know. Yeah, just going to have to remember how to do this. There we go. I'm figuring it out. Hi, good morning. So, and amongst the like full-on intense, like just like yesterday, I think for me personally was stronger, if you may. Hang on, I'll share this because I always start talking. Wait on, just concentrate, just hang on a second. I'll start getting sidetracked. Oh my goodness, come on, find it. Find it. I'm getting there. Yeah, yesterday, right? Yesterday was really full on. And this is the thing, right? So, like the energies were really full on and crazy. But I was going through all of this stuff, right? That I just posted about. I don't want to talk about today on live stream. I wrote a post about it, so you can read it all about there. But, and I guess the reason I'm sharing this is because I was going through this. So I had my own stuff going on, but I feel like it was like exponentially amplified because of whatever other energies were going on collectively. So collectively, there was a lot of big stuff happening. What exactly? I don't know, right? But energetically, there's a lot. Like if we look at what's happening in Russia, Ukraine, if we look at what's happening in our own personal lives, if we look at what's happening in, you know, with the flooding, and I'm sure there's other stuff going on in the world that I don't even really know about, right? So when we're like feeling like intense energy, weird energy, crazy energy, like the best thing to do, so if you're not in my reality awareness support group on Facebook, it's my free group, and it's for those times when you're like, I'm feeling strange or weird or this is going on, is anyone else feeling this? Right? And you know, so then you know you're not alone. It's really good to be conscious of what you're going through personally, like my own stuff yesterday. But then to also check in, especially if it's like exponentially over the top or just like, usually you can handle stuff in a way. But then when it's like exponentially over the top, it's good to check in. What else is going on in the world? Oh, that's right, war's breaking out, or it has broken out, and everyone's on edge. Oh, that's right, there's floods and people have lost their lives, and civilians are doing all the rescues. Like, that's right. You know, like there's all this stuff going on that's also amplifying what we're feeling as well. Now, is one triggering the other? Maybe, you know, it's like, is one triggering, you know, are we being like mirrored or vice versa? Like, we don't really know, right? But it's really important to understand that number one, you're not alone, and that when it's, you know, and like I said, if you post in my reality awareness support group or look in there, or come to see my page and I'll be talking about it, because I used to talk about this stuff all the time. I've gone through huge recalibration, so I'm back. And I'll talk about it when I'm called to talk about it, but always post in that group if you're not sure, okay? So if you type in the Facebook search bar, Reality Awareness Support Group, and then it'll come up and you can request to join and I'll let you in there. So I'm just going to bring up these comments here. Oops. What's happening here? Just going to bring up the comments on my laptop here. Everything is crazy. I know the world's going ridiculously crazy. I think that am I in that profile? What's going on? What's going on? No, I think that's right. Okay. Facebook's changing everything. You're using, oh yes, that's correct. Okay, cool. It's confusing myself. So yesterday, yes, Tracy said yesterday was intense. Then Red Resonance was crazy. Thank you. I love my dress too. It's very pretty. Look, I'll show you more. See? It's so pretty. So yeah, it was crazy yesterday. I feel like I just need to bring this down a little bit. So oh, you want to see the whole dress? Oh, everyone wants to see the whole dress. Okay, I'll do a little more. Okay. Maybe if I stand over here, you can see more of the dress. It's so pretty. See? Just got to get used to wearing my heels at home too, you know. Become the person and all. I bought heels, but I do wear them, but just haven't got them on right this second. I chuck on my cowgirl boots before I chuck on my heels. Oh, anyway, thanks for the dress. I know, I'm making my life and myself beautiful. And I've always had this thing that, I think I can't remember her name. It'll probably drop in because I can see her as I'm talking. Years and years and years and years ago when I started my, oh, thanks so much, Maggie, for sharing my Facebook group link there. Or some of you. Like, she, you know, when I started my entrepreneur journey online and as a spiritual entrepreneur, and she just said something that just so stuck with me. And she used to wear, well, sure, she still does, like beautiful dresses, and you know, and once I get dressed up, like I'm just at home, but I'm working and I get dressed up, and she said something, I can't remember exactly. It was something along the lines of gym clothes are for wearing at the gym, and then you come home and you put your pretty dress on. And you know, like I'm a yoga teacher. I've worn my gym clothes all day, my yoga clothes all day. I've lifted them. I still do, right? And then I'm also love my bikinis. Like when I put my dress on this morning, I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm more like, I don't know, I need more bikinis because I just like wearing bikinis all day. Like, and Madeline, I did think of you or what we spoke about in our Trust Intuition hot seat mentoring last night, and you're like, I just like to wear no clothes all the time, or whatever you said, you know. And it's like, you know, but wearing like, you know, what feels comfortable. You just say no clothes, but in a sense of like, you know, like for me, bikinis, like I was remembering, like when you said it, I was like, I used to live in my freaking bikinis, right? And now I've got a pool, and I'm like, and yesterday I had a swim yesterday, and I was like, actually, no, it wasn't yesterday, it was the day before. Not yesterday, this was yesterday. Yesterday was hectic. Okay, let's just wipe yesterday. Let's go back to Sunday. Sunday's better. Bikinis around the pool was better. And I was like, okay, I just want to wear my bikinis. I was like, put my dress on, and I'm like, no. And then I'm like, no, well, you've got to wear clothes anyway, just wear it, right? But, you know, it's me getting used to it. I was wearing my yellow dress yesterday and on Sunday for my live stream. And then it was like, you know, she'd said that, you know, years ago, and it's always stuck with me because for me, I love routine. I'm good with routine. I function with routine, and routine creates safety. If you don't feel safe, create a routine for yourself, right? Create something, even if you're trapped in a house, like lockdown or something, like create safety, right? When the energies are intense, create safety. When things don't feel safe, create safety by routine, right? So for me, getting up and exercising straight away in the morning, even though some people don't recommend that, for me, that works. I get up, exercise straight away. So I'm in my gym clothes, I'm in my yoga clothes, but then I can come home and I can have a shower, and then I can get dressed for the day. Now, what have I always said, right? One of the biggest tips to I want to say getting shit done, to coping, to pulling yourself out of a funk. Like if the only thing that you can do is get up, have a shower and get dressed and put your makeup and do your hair, like that is like going to change the way you approach the day. Like anything can be thrown at you during the day and you're like, got my makeup and my hair done and I'm all good. That's the thing that really supported me as a single mom when my daughter was little and I was on my own. I've always been on my own, but you know, that was extremely hard. And that was the only thing that I could manage as self-care, right? And it literally changed the day for me. It changed my structure. It changed the way that I felt. It felt like I, achieved something, like all those things, right? So it's like find routine, right? When the energies are intense, find safety in routine. Find your thing in routine. Like I don't know how to say it any other way than that, right? And it doesn't have to be getting up and exercising. It doesn't have to be getting up and journaling. It could be sleeping until 10 o'clock and you work as a night owl. Like, do you know what I mean? Like your routine is your routine. And what creates safety in your life is going to be different. Why? Because we're all intuitive empaths and it's important to check in with your own flow, check in with your own truth, which we're about to start throat chakra consciousness in Transcendence Reality Society that I have opened the doors to today. If you haven't looked at that, have a look at that. I'm struggling to talk my truth. One of my biggest things lately is I haven't been living my truth. If there's anything that this stopped me doing was everything that wasn't my truth. It wasn't. Like if I look at like, you know, this past month, especially as I spoke about it, you know, on Sunday and whatever as well, it's like, I can't remember exactly what I said, but basically I wasn't living my full truth. Now people might be like, what are you talking about, Hannah? Look what you do. Look what you've created. Look what you've built. Now that's my truth for sure. But deep down, I've always known, not always, maybe the past 2 years especially, past 2 years definitely, I haven't been living my whole truth. Now, what do I mean by that? Things that I also talked about on my live stream, on my blog earlier today, is literally like, you know, like the cleansing, the detoxing, the way that I eat, the way that I treat myself, i.e. the routine, i.e. getting dressed and feeling good. Like, I know it sounds like ridiculous and crazy, like, but when I've been working from home for a long period of time and it's easy and I've created a life that I can sit in bed all day in my pajamas and work on my laptop, like that's the life I've created. And hey, I definitely still do those days because bed days are essential and important, especially when the energies are so intense, and I would have rather been in bed than that yesterday because I was just like, next level plus what everyone else is feeling, and the whole, like, everybody's feeling it. Like everybody's like, oh my god, intense and crazy, right? So yesterday was a shocker. There's a lot of you feeling that, right? So in Transcendence Reality Society, we're starting the throat chakra consciousness this week. We're going deep into the consciousness of the chakra. Like there is a lot of videos that I create. If you guys have got any of my, like even my freebies, so if you've got my essential free meditation pack or my Clear and Activate pack, which is the meditation packs, there's training videos in there, like, and they're the free ones. Like in any of my paid courses, there's like so much content. You kind of get lost in it, even in a way. And in that sense, right, when we're doing each chakra, there's a lot, right? Plus, oh, I'm so excited as well about this. In Transcendence Reality Society, my beautiful dear friend and inner circle client is going to be holding monthly psychic readings. I hold life purpose business mentoring trainings once a month in there, and live hot seat mentoring in there as well. So if you can't work with me one-on-one, you can definitely work with me one-on-one in the group setting. So Madeline says, yes, so much content. So much content. And with all this recalibration going on, I've wanted to be able to support people more. Like that's been one of the biggest things where I've been like waiting to come back and like, what am I doing? And I'm waiting to write. And I was like, okay, I'm writing my books. Like that'll help more people. But I'm like, now I can't write even more. I was fuming yesterday. I was fuming, let alone all the things. Yes, I'm still processing it, obviously. Writing that blog made me feel a bit better because I got it out. But the point is, I wanted to be able to support people more. So you get so much from my free stuff, my free content, my live streams, my blogs, if you go to my website, the self-help page, there's free meditation packs. There's so much stuff to help heal your broken heart, to trust intuition, to do all sorts of things, right? And then there's my certification course, Trust Intuition. And if you're not ready for that, Transcendence Reality Society is definitely affordable, and it's definitely a way to be able to start working with me and going deeper to be able to move up into Trust Intuition or something else that you feel called to do. So definitely check that out. Thank you for my dress. And yesterday it was huge, right? And a big thing like that I've been really sitting within myself is like I've been feeling so much shame. And it sounds ridiculous, right? But the shame that I haven't been living my truth that I know that I can be. I haven't been stepping up to be the best version of myself. So your throat chakra consciousness, as everyone knows, is like speaking your truth. But it's actually a lot deeper than that. It's actually about living your truth, right? And it's actually about like, are your words congruent with the way that you know your value system works? For me, it's health and wellness. Like, I'm a healer. Like, yeah, of course there's all the metaphysical stuff, but it's also the physical stuff. Now, in the past 2 years, I've been through a huge transformation in physical, moving house, being on the road for 5 months. That was no good for me. It was good in many ways, but I wasn't able to take care of myself, especially with dietary wise in the way that I want to. Being in this house, you'd think that I would have got my shit together already. No, not the case with everything I've gone through. And now I'm like, now it's time. Now it's time. And I'm like, why only now? And I'm like, oh, we're about to start throat chakra consciousness. There's so much more to it. It's the shadow work. It's, yes, speaking a truth. Why can't you speak a truth? Why can't you step into your purpose work? Because throat chakra and base chakra are intricately connected. And your base chakra is all about living your purpose and living who and where you're supposed to be, right? Being the queen, being the king, being the priestess, being the wizard that you are. Like, this is what throat chakra is about. Not hiding behind the masks anymore, not hiding behind the shadows anymore. A lot of people get stuck at the throat chakra consciousness because they've been hung. The witch hunt's been burnt at the stake. They've been hung for speaking their voice. They've been beheaded for speaking their voice. How many people, when you go to step into your purpose, do you feel this chunk here and you're like frozen and paralyzed, right? There is so much to that. And we look at the shadow work, the deep, like past life work. We go into like the shadows of the past lives that are playing out now and how those past lives are also affecting your physical health. This is going to be huge. Like, I'm really excited about it because I'm like, wow, it's fucking time. But I'll literally be going through my own transformation in that group as well as sharing what I'm doing, of course. But that's just an extra alongside, obviously, the throat chakra consciousness, let alone the content that's already in there. So we already have in there Earth My Reality, which is about detoxing, physical decluttering, all those sorts of things. So it's like preparation before you start the consciousness journey in a way. There's Awaken Your Psychic Senses, which has like a sort of an overview of everything you need to awaken your psychic senses. Then there's the crown chakra consciousness, the third eye chakra consciousness, the ear chakra consciousness, and now we're commencing the throat chakra. So there's already like, what's that, 5 or 6 courses already sitting there, let alone the business developmental side of the piece as well. So if you're not sure about a spiritual business, but you're curious about it, but you've seen me do it and you're like on the edge and you're always like, oh yeah, but I'm not sure. And then the boundaries, and then you're just like, oh, I can't charge my services. That's not spiritual to charge for your services. Don't get me started with that. So it's just like really coming into a place of like the whole piece is transcending reality, but we're actually bringing it to reality. We're transcending I want to say the myths and the bullshit so that we can actually be in reality. Like, that's really what it's about, as well as awakening your life purpose, because going through the chakra journey is actually how you do that. You have to trust the intuition, but then there's the depth. So what we're actually doing in here is the advanced certification. And this is the bits of training that you get access to, and know that whichever chakra you come in on is where you're at. So alongside this, the reason I was sharing this is because I've been feeling a lot of shame, right? Like, I've been feeling these intense energies. I've been feeling like the cosmic stuff, blah, blah, blah. At the same time, I'm like, but I'm feeling shit because my body, and I'm not supporting my body in the way that I can. Like, the thing that's been pissing me off about this the most is I can't exercise, I can't run, I can't do like, you know, my physical activities. I'm like, so I'm just kind of stagnant, stuck, not moving, and that's not cool for any part of myself, especially my mental self. And I'm like, I can't, all I can do is walk. So I have been, but it's not the same as running or cardio. Anyway, the point is that I've been feeling the shame, and I've been feeling all these energies, and like, you know, the chemtrails and all that stuff, and we all talk about it. It's like, oh, it makes us sick. And I'm like, in myself, I'm like, it doesn't, because we know better. We know better to be able to clean our body and to heal our body and to be at the best, most like highest aspect, like living your higher self, living your dream self, living who you are. That's throat chakra, right? And when we're not that, when we're not living our full potential, that's when we feel shame. That's when we feel stuck. That's when we feel depressed. That's when we feel, oh, it's the chemtrails making me sick. And I'm like, no, not living your fucking truth is making you sick. Because that's the goddamn truth of it. So that we don't feel stuff, but we're able to move through things when we're at our full peak. And if we're complaining about anything outside of ourselves that is making us sick, the food we eat, the blah, 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 the chemtrails, the this, the that, the EMF, the 5G fucking bullshit, it's because you're not looking after your body and still eating the food that they're serving you in the fucking supermarket. I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. And it's made me feel like shit. And I've reached a point where I'm like, fuck, man. No wonder I've been like not happy, not been living my truth. And I know what it takes to live my truth. And I spoke about that in my, thing, like in my blog this morning, right? So it's like, no, I need to be who I really am. And ultimately it doesn't matter what food you eat. That's just a solid belief of myself, right? Because I know I can be better. I've been better. And I want to say I lost myself in the change that I've gone through in the past 5 to 6 years, past 3 years especially. But it's been a foundational build to build that up. And so the intensities, the energies, all of that stuff, we're going to feel it more for sure. And we're still going to feel it whether our body's clean or not. But when we're blaming it on something else and we're not taking action for our body and our health in a way that we know, that's when we're like, that's when we spiral down into the victim and unconsciousness. Like, that's no. Madeline says, I love feeling sexy in heels, but I actually hate wearing them. So uncomfortable. Yeah, it's for me, like, I want to say get used to them, you know, in a way of like, that's for me. Like, if I wear them all the time, it just becomes normal, you know? So, yes, but my boots out here because the heels just sink into them, especially now in muddy grass. But anyway, I can wear them around the house and that's important. A transformed little butterfly, that's the one. B says, I feel like it's the time where everything gets worse before it gets better. Yeah, that's how I've been feeling too, in a sense that that's the way it's been feeling as well. In a sense of, you know, it's what I've been saying. I'm like, yeah, this bad stuff's happening, but I'm like, it hasn't hit the worst peak yet. And I don't like staying that still because look what's bad in the world right now. But it's the feeling, and we're all getting that feeling. Now, whether that's for our own life or whether that's for something else or both, we're getting those messages so we can also prepare in all the ways that we prepare. Yeah. Monica, missed me. Thank you for being here. Okay. Bikinis, yes. Corlette, is that how you pronounce your name? It's definitely intensely interesting. Yes, definitely interesting. Intensely interesting. So much going on, just like so much, right? It's almost, and I think we're not only on edge because of the war with Russia and Ukraine. I think we're as a collective, we're on edge because like we're also exhausted from the past 2 years, but we're also on edge because we're like, oh, what's next? Like, we're just waiting for it. Do you know what I mean? And we can all feel it, but we're also all waiting for it because it's just like one thing after the next, right? Which is not a good way to think or feel. But as intuitives and empaths, we're feeling that. And that's why it's about getting prepared, right? And I think fixing up health and dietary is, as I think I said on the Sunday's live stream, is your best weapon, right? Routine is good. Yeah, it's important to find what routine works for you and what is good for your body and lifestyle for sure. The light body, yes. Have you guys done my light body activation? I should post that on my page for you guys. Go have a look. Any help is awesome. I wish I could afford your awesome course on my bucket list. Yeah, so Trust Intuition is $4,444. Transcendence Reality Society is $49 a month. and you get access to a lot of content, a lot of live stuff as well. Like the live stuff's where it's at, especially in the groups, because we do like solid trainings as well. So yeah, definitely worth checking out. Joy says, we're just thinking about doing the chakra meditation. Yes, yes, please do that. It's so easy and simple. My from the Essentials Meditation pack, I think it's also in the Clear and Activate pack actually. It's in both of them because it's that important, right? It's like the basic foundations. It's like 6 or 8 minutes long, I think. You can do it while you're listening to the dishes. You don't have to sit there and, like Buddha sort of thing. Like it's important to make it work for you. So if you're doing the dishes, you can be listening to it on your earphones. Like your subconscious is always listening. Remember, while you're hanging out the washing, like I don't want to hear the complaint of I don't have time. I don't have time to meditate. I'm like, yes, you do. Yes, you do. You just plug it in and listen while you're doing the dishes because your subconscious listening anyway. You're listening to whatever in the background anyway. You might as well be listening to something that's actually going to help you, right? But it's important to, at times sit there and do it consciously, for sure, as with anything. But if you're busy, I don't want to hear the excuse that I'm too busy and don't have time. I've got a family to look after. And I'm like, yeah, you can listen while you're hanging the washing out this time. So, yes. Madeline says, yeah, I get confused where and what because I try to do it all at once. Yeah, all the content, right? Marsha says, I really like the couch in this format. Yes, I like this format too. So Madeline says, what's the difference between Transcendence Reality Society and Trust Intuition? Good question. So Trust Intuition is the certified course, right? Trust Intuition is a structured, you're going to learn everything from A to Z, right? Basically, in a way. In Transcendence Reality Society, it's a membership. So back to Trust Intuition. We're doing a 6-month journey. The doors are currently closed. I'm going to give you a heads up. When I receive the training manuals in hard copy form, which should be at the end of this week, I'm going to open the doors for 48 hours whilst the hard copy is in my hand, and then I'm going to post them in the mail, and I'm going to close the doors until probably next year. So just giving you a heads up. So Trust Intuition is the 6-month course, right? It's A to Z, learning everything, plus you can choose to do the certification, which you're doing it anyway, right? But whether you actually hand in your assessments and I give you your certificate back is whether you do the certification or not. And, there's no expiry on that. So that's Trust Intuition. Transcendence Reality Society is obviously a monthly membership. It's $49 a month currently at this minute in time. I was guided to put it at that price. Doesn't make logical sense for what's in there or what we do in that space, but that's what it is, and it's my space to be able to help you guys more. So on these live streams that are public, we talk about whatever energies we interact, blah, blah, blah. In the group, there's something happening every single week. So like I said, I do a life purpose business mentoring live stream or Zoom. We do them on Zoom in there, and we go deep into a business topic or whatever. That's once a month. Also, once a month, I'm doing a hot seat mentoring, which means that if you can't work one-on-one with me for whatever reason, you can be in that group paying $49 a month, and we can get on the hot seat mentoring, and you can tell me what's going on, and in the group setting, we can work through it like we're in session. So you can get that one-on-one support, right? Then, as well, as I said, my beautiful inner circle client, Emma, is doing psychic readings live each month. So that's like 3 weeks in a row that there's something happening each week. So if you want personal psychic readings, you jump on her live stream and she will do psychic readings for you. Then I'm also dropping the content. So I did the ear chakra consciousness in there as a live Zoom. For the throat chakra consciousness, I'm being called to record it as its own like individual, so pre-recorded trainings. And then I'm dropping the content, well, actually each week. So each week you also get access to the new trainings or the new videos that I'm releasing about throat chakra consciousness. So to give you an example, in one of like the other, like let's say the third eye chakra course, for example, and the third eye chakra, I think there's so many videos in there. Let me give you an idea of exactly how much. There's heaps. So I can't even tell you off the top of my head because there's lots. And when you join Trust Intuition, you actually get third eye chakra consciousness included as one of the bonuses, because it's all about relationships, and to understand your intuition, you have to understand relationships. So, okay, so I'm not even opening all of them. There's 13 categories, meaning 13 different videos. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. I'm not even halfway through. So there's already 18 to 20 videos and I haven't even opened the rest of the sections. So like to give you an idea, right? The training is, you guys know how thoroughly I explain it and like go through things with you. So each training is like that. So that's the third eye chakra course that I just spoke about then. There's the crown chakra already in there. There's the third eye already in there. The ear chakra's already in there. And then there's 2 others that you can do beforehand. You can choose whichever one you do. You have access to them. There's heaps of meditations, past life meditations, like all the jazz, right? There's so much in each of the chakras themselves. Now, you don't have to like go through all the trainings. You could be in there just for the live content. You could be in there for, you know, the recorded trainings. You could be in there for the whole thing and just the experience, because when you step into that space, energetically, you know how you feel when you've been on a live stream with me, when you read my content, when you've been on my website, like it makes you feel a certain way. When you step into a paid membership, for example, the energy's different. You're in an environment that is my sacred space. Like Transcendence Reality Society is the inner circle, right? There's inner circle, there's 2 inner circles. There's the inner circle of Transcendence Reality Society, which if I release a new course, if I release a meditation, if I release something else, you get instant access to that in Transcendence Reality Society. That's the inner circle. You get access to everything, right, that I release, as well as what we're already doing in there, right? So plus the full moon ceremony each month, you also get access to that. For $49 a month, I'm like questioning myself, but that was the intuition that came through. So I'm like, nah, that's what I'm going to trust, right? Trust intuition. So depending on, like, I know you're in Trust Intuition, Madeline, you can be in both for sure. They are different vibes, but you just learn, like, basically as I'm creating each chakra in its entirety in depth, right? So like we're going into throat chakra consciousness. As we do each chakra, it's integrating the consciousness of the planet. There's like a part of myself that's like, wow, like, am I creating this on the planet or am I integrating it? You know, it's like egotistical of me, if you may, to say that I'm creating it. But what I've realized over time is that every time I sat down to record one of the chakra consciousness trainings in depth, what actually happens is that, like, it's exactly what's going on in the world. Third eye chakra consciousness, like crown chakra consciousness, like ear chakra consciousness. Now we're at throat, like all the shadow stuff, like look what's happening in the world, like the war between the head and the heart, you know, like that's what the throat's all about. It's the in-between section, right? Between consciousness connecting to the brain and the heart, right? So it's like, if you really want to understand the in-depth energies that are going on the planet currently, that's where you want to be in Transcendence Reality Society, let alone getting access to each of the chakra consciousness in depth, heaps of content. You know, you could spend hours on there. You could look at it as though it's like a Netflix subscription, if you may. So yeah, so that would be the sort of, you know, main differences. Trust Intuition is its course that's taking you through. The membership is where you're in a society, you're in an environment, you're in like the inner circle that is like going to accelerate you in every area of your life. Yeah. So that would be the difference there. So Leah says, well, this explains so much as to why I've been going through all of this. Yes, exactly right. Verinia says the awakening, light workers have to speak up now. Exactly right. And this is what we're doing. We're taking a stand. We're like, look what's happening in northern New South Wales, for example, in Australia, like all the floods, like people are like, we don't need the government. Like, we're coming into a space of like, actually, I saw someone's post, she said it beautifully, damn, it's on my phone. She said something like, yep, all the abandonment's coming up. So this is not my words, but when she said it, I was like, that's exactly what's going on as a collective. All the abandonment's coming up. Our government, we're realizing, is actually not there for us. We've known that, but now we're seeing it firsthand. We're seeing the truth, right? We've already come through the third eye chakra. We're seeing the truth of reality, right? We're opening up to a new way of being. That's the ear chakras. And now we're starting to live our truth fully in a way that we've never done before, even though we've lived it and believed it, right? Because we're realizing the powers to be aren't really there for us. We've known that, but we're now coming down to living it because of what's happening in reality, right? So it's time to speak up. Like, it's exactly what's happening. Hence, like, prime example, what we're doing in throat chakra consciousness. I'm like, just explained it, right? And then you just said it. I'm like, yep. Well, I know you said that a little while ago. I'm just going through the comments there. So Madeline says, how I've been feeling this week because I choose to suppress my fullness for others. So opened a jar of shame that was mine, but not mine, but is mine. Exactly, right? Exactly that. It's so what's going on, yeah? So I can swim with my arm above water, of course. Three limb swim. A bike at the gym, I could do that. Like a stationary bike, I could. I have been doing leg exercises, but I just want that cardio. I want to do a strong yoga class, blah, 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 whatever. I just can't. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about that anymore. Do I want to go plant-based? Yes. Raw vegan / medical medium is what I'm using as the protocol coming up. And I'm going to pick up my FedEx Express posted supplements from Marcus Rosecrans this afternoon. I'm so excited. I got an email saying you have mail, so I'm going into town to grab them. So excited about that. And I'm going to share all the in-depth journey because you can have supplements, but if your body's full of parasites, they're just, you're not absorbing it anyway. So, parasite cleaning out is important. Barefoot gal, exactly. And low vibrations. So the low vibrations in your body from parasites is what's going to make you feel the energies more, etc. I do feel that too. And fear of will, fear of it, will it affect us too? Yeah, exactly. Definitely. Next is getting our lives back and freedoms is enough. It is enough. Yes, people are starting to really feel that. The light body activation is amazing. I know, it's so special, right? Corey says, love your energy. Thank you. Maggie says, I'm printing out the PDF file as we speak. So excited for Psychic Skills Activator. Yes. So if you want a taste of what I deliver, the Psychic Skills Activator is free. That's free. The Psychic Skills Activator is free. There's 3 trainings in there, the PDF, because I always provide, and step by step going through that one's awesome. Thanks for bringing that up. That's in my Reality Awareness support group, so on Facebook, and I think it was you actually that shared my support group link, Maggie, so thank you for that. Pretty sure it was you. So in my Reality Awareness support group on Facebook, it's free. Like I said, if you search in the Facebook search bar, Reality Awareness support group, in there is the Psychic Skills Activator. So if you search in the group once you're in there, Psychic Skills Activator, or just send me a message and I'll tag you. And there's trainings in there going to depth. Like, I think they're about an hour and a half long. Like, this is, guys know how long my content is, how much I give. So once you're in a space, you get more, and it's like, it takes it to the whole next level, right? So yes, you did share. Thank you. You are awesome. Just a reflection of you, actually, Maggie. That's all. We're just reflecting back each other. Madeline says, I'm listening to you right now while I'm working on the op shop. Just pause when customers come. See? Multitasking. What are you absorbing all the time? Where are you heading in life? What are you creating? What are you listening to? Right? It's normal for humans to get sucked into and pulled into things and all those things, right? But when we can be conscious of what we're absorbing, consciously choose what we're listening to, and how much we're listening to things is how fast and rapid we're going to change our life, right? Yes, didn't think of that. Been trying to get time to myself, which is to do this, which is never. Awesome. Yeah, listen to it. Like multitasking, doing many things. You can multitask, listen to so much. So yes. Sometimes the meditation as a newbie go too quick. As a newbie, yeah, some people find that with my meditations. So maybe, my meditations just don't suit you, but if you consciously do listen to it to start with, you can hear it. But another thing you can do if you find that they're too quick is when you're listening, right? And it's like you're listening, you can just press pause. Like just press pause, press pause and just like let yourself catch up. And then you can just press play again. Or sometimes like I'll ask you questions in there, like say for the inner child, and I'm like, what does your inner child need or whatever, right? And then I'll, it might be too quick. So you can just pause it when I say that. So you've got more time to be with your inner child, for example, right? So that's always another thing you can do too. So yes, perfect. Leah says, so we're able to go back and do the crown and third eye chakra. Definitely. It's sitting in there, ready to go. Yes. Yeah, I know. Concentrating the rain and the bushfires. I know. I don't want to say it, but today I was like, oh, the sky's clear, and then I spoke too soon. I'm gonna have a little search on Google Earth because I feel that there's a thing up north. I see it come from that direction all the time. It's so like clear and distinctive. I put stuff on my stories at times, and so what was I just saying? Yeah, and so then today I was like, oh, it's clear. And then like coming over, it was like the clouds. I was like, oh, I spoke too soon. They are distinctively different when I see them come from there like that. And anyway, the last thing I'll just say about it is then like there was like this smoky haze through the valley, and it wasn't smoke, didn't smell like smoke. It looked like mist, but it wasn't as thick as mist. It was like 10, 11 o'clock. It's 34 degrees today. It's hot. And I was like, what is that? And I was like, I heard fire retardant, but I don't know. We're waiting for what's next. I don't want to talk about it right now. Anyway. I don't want to talk about it right now. Let's not go into that right now. We did that the other day. There's so much I could talk about it. I think maybe I need to do an audio with that. Okay. Do what I can. Yes, I will get there. Leah says, so how do we get rid of parasites? There's lots of different ways we can get rid of parasites, and there's lots of different parasites, and we have to do it for a certain time. Be really strict with it because they release their eggs again, and if we don't do it for a long enough time, all the eggs just hatch again, and it's pointless in a way, right? So yeah, so the parasite cleanser is new to you too. So yeah, so and Madeline says, would love to follow your plant-based medical medium journey. Like I said, in Transcendence Reality Society, I'm going to be sharing in depth. So alongside everything else that I'm doing, you know, all the content, throat chakra consciousness, blah, 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 blah. I'll be going live at different times and putting posts in there that are more detailed, probably pretty graphic at times. And I'll have like is it too much information? Like, you know, there'll be things in there. But I really want to show you the depth and the journey, because when I did a parasite cleanse, when I did that strict parasite cleanse back in like 2011, like, and it was intense, and the stuff that came out of me is crazy. Now, you know, when I look back, I'm like, fuck, Hannah, that was 10 years ago. You're supposed to do this every year, you know, or like, you know, they recommend to do it, you know, at least once a year, right? To do a proper cleanse. Like there's that much chemicals, like car emissions, blah, 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 like chemicals in the food, like on the grass we walk, like whatever, like there's so much, the perfumes we spray on us, like the list is endless. You guys know it, right? We should be doing it frequently. And I'm like, well, no wonder I've been like, you know, feeling worse and worse, and shamefully also knowing that that's not my truth, you know? So I feel like it's going to be a big shift in me. Last time I did it, it fully changed my life. And I'm like, for me, doing this now is a lifestyle change. It's not just like, oh, I'm just going to do a cleanse and like, you know, but of course you can just do a cleanse, and any cleanse is important. Now, if you guys join Transcendence Reality Society, in there is a course called Earth My Reality. That's the first one that I did in the Rapid Ascension Awakening series. So the chakra journey is called Rapid Ascension Awakening. That's just the name I called it, right? And like I said, there's 5 courses in there. So there's Earth My Reality, Awaken Your Psychic Senses, Activate Your Psychic Senses, which is the crown, third eye chakra, ear chakra, and now we're starting throat. Earth My Reality, like I said, is literally about decluttering your home, creating beauty, going into a little bit of feng shui and other techniques that I've used around my home and over the years, cleansing stuff, of course. But then there's also like different ways that we detox, because some people are not ready for a full-on 3-month detox. Like we might just be able to cope with something daily that's really, really simple, right? And in Earth My Reality, I go over different like levels of cleansing. So if you sign up like now today, you can go straight in there and start watching or multitask listening to the videos, right? Like I said, it's like a Netflix, you know, thing, and there's so much content you can absorb and shift and watch and grow and change. So alongside what I'll be sharing as I go, like in my journey over the next 3 months and beyond, because it's a lifestyle shift for me, there's already content in there right now about the different levels of cleansers and what's right for you and your body and your family, right? Because if you've got family to look after, it's not easy. It's not easy. Like, no way. No way it's easy, right? So yes, Conliffe says, I don't think it's going to go back to how it was. No, this is the collapsing of the old structures. Of course, it's not going to go back. You know, a lot of us want the new earth, and, you know, and a lot of people are saying that the, the surveillance system societies are coming in, and to an extent they are, but also the new earth is also rising amongst that too. So a whole new structure on both parts is collapsing and being created. So yes. Awesome idea. Yeah, so important to remember. You can always pause the meditations, or, you know, yeah, definitely do that. Yeah, there's flooding around Sydney. Yeah, it was coming and predicted. I love my new space too. Yes. How do I feel about chlorophyll? I used to drink chlorophyll. Is that the one? Oh no, I'm thinking of chlorella. So I used to drink chlorella, and the medical medium explained it's not good, and I resonated with that, and I was like, wow, that's something I used to have all the time. So that's why I'm doing raw vegan plus medical medium, you know, with that, but trying to stay away from nuts. Nuts are too fatty for the liver, and that's what really needs cleaning, amongst other things. Oh, your daughter's school is closed because of flooding in areas, but not where we are. Not where the school is, but very hard to get to for some. Ah, that's so interesting. Yeah. Yeah, so when we look at parasite cleansing, it's not just what we take and what supplements we take and what herbs we take. It's also about what we're feeding our body in general. And that's what I'll be really going into in a lot of detail as well in the group there. So, yeah. So this live stream was about the intense energies, yes, but we've been speaking a lot about, you know, activating our light body, basically how we step into our higher self, and how the best form of protection against what's happening out there is really where it starts deep in our body, because we can always take back our power and revive ourselves and really rise into who we're meant to be, because at the throat chakra, whatever chakra we're working on, the next chakra is activated. And because I work from the chakras starting from the top coming down, the heart is already activated, and that's where we're coming into as well. So when we're working on the throat, the heart's already being activated, so grief might come up, but also we're remembering what we love and returning back to love, amongst other things with the heart. So yeah, a more loving world is coming. See, exactly what you just said, Verinia, I think. We can all make this happen together. Yes, sending the love out. Yes, but we have to feel the love inside of ourselves before we can do that to an extent. You know, if some people are struggling, that is usually the reason why, because they need to come back into their heart themselves. And sometimes there's a lot of pain in the people's hearts, like we see in the wars of the world. And this is where we awaken the consciousness of humanity and come back to the reality of the awareness that we have that brings us back here. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to jump off this live stream. Remember, if the energy is intense, check in the Reality Awareness Support group. Check if I've done a live stream or posted about something, and ask in the group if I haven't posted anything, because you're probably definitely not alone, and that was the purpose of this live stream. So I hope you haven't felt alone in these energies, and we're all in this together, and it's going to be okay, even though things are crumbling and falling. This is how we create new systems, structures, and societies are reborn. I love you.